Okay, you're live.
Hello, everybody. We are here at Palm Springs Grown Fest. I'm Desi Ekstein, and we are at the stage of vertical space, and I have Makayla here as a special guest, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her journey. So introduce yourself and tell us how to get started into this drone adventure.
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Makayla. I'm currently at Arizona State University. This is my second semester as a graduate. I'm currently doing ROTC there, which is amazing, and I'm studying aviation management technologies with unmanned aerial.
Very impressive, impressive. So backing up a little bit, getting the story, we hear all your application now. Tell us about how you got started and the part arrived, you are letting have a private service.
Yes, so I actually started off with going to a STEM program at Wings of the Rockies Museum in Denver, Colorado. And I was taking, they had Saturday classes, and they had a ground school class to help get your private pilot certificate. And I was 15 at the time, and for completing the ground school, you got to go on a discovery flight. And that is what really got me started, which is you're flying, you're a 15-year-old getting into an airplane for the first time that only has one engine, by the way, and you're flying at one of the world's most busiest airports, which is Centennial Airport, which is right next to the international airport, Denver International, which you get to fly in the same airspace as like a Southwest airline, which is pretty amazing, right?
Wow. Well, and that just kind of goes to show that discovery flow and the potential that that is. So I bet you see the same thing as that in the drone industry. Absolutely. I mean, it gets somebody that gets under the sticks for the first time. So tell us about that part of your journey.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually, here with Wings of the Rockies, they actually had a drone program which offered drone soccer to get involved. And from playing drone soccer, they suggested, oh, you should get your Part 107. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, well, it's so you can fly professionally, you can get paid, you can actually be paid as a high schooler and make money and have a whole career with it. So I was like, okay. And because I actually got my private pilot certificate, I got to take my Part 107 a different route, which I don't know if most people know, but if you have your pilot certificate already, you can take an online test to get your Part 107 for free. So if you are a pilot out there and you want to get your Part 107, you can take the online test 100% for free. You just got to get 100 on it. That's all they require.
Yes, but there is one caveat. No. But the reasoning is because as a private pilot, you have this large knowledge of being out there being safe and actually the whole aviation industry. And so it is refined. And so you bring up a really good point that, you know, with your traditional aviation, meaning the best thing is
Because even though there's different subjects, it's still pretty much the same because we're all pilots, right? Drone pilots, right? Like single engine pilots, we're all just different types of pilots.
awesome. All right, so tell us a little bit about the drone soccer work. And you're just quite the champion when it comes to that drone soccer. So tell us about that part of your journey.
So I actually started off flying with the 20-centimeter drones that their kids are actually doing right now. And from doing the 20 centimeters, I was a part of the team called Sky Blazers, and that was just my local team after doing a summer camp. And from that, we ended up combining our team with another school team called Westminster High School, and we made the United States national team. And that was a few years ago, back in 2023. And they had actually invited us to go to South Korea and compete, which we ended up becoming third in the world in South Korea, which I think was pretty amazing. And the best part about it was being able to talk to the other countries and getting to learn from their experiences, especially the South Korean team, because they're so knowledgeable in the sport. They're like 10 years advanced with it, and just having the opportunity to learn from them and grow from it is an awesome opportunity.
So you mentioned the drone you were working from.
That's 2017.
27. So tell us a little more about that, because there's choices.
Right.
You could have, and so tell us about the drone.
Let's describe it. So there's different categories. There's the 40 centimeter, which is a larger one, a much faster one, much louder one, and a much bigger cage one. While the 20 centimeter is much smaller, more aimed for elementary, middle school, and high school. But right now it's really popular all over not just the United States or Korea, but all over the world. And it's actually pretty, I don't know, from personal, I think it's pretty easy to fly. That's also because I've been doing it for a long time. But I have my sister and my friends who just started flying, and I think it's an amazing, like, first starter drone, especially when you're trying to learn how to maneuver it, how to control it, how to program, how to build. It's a great opportunity to start from the basics with the 27.
So you actually build them.
Yes.
So you're learning that all around technology and it's building out for the future. Awesome. So what is your future? Where do you see in your future?
Well, my ultimate goal one day is to be an astronaut, and that is my top tier. But because it's such a high goal, everything below will also be as well pretty high. And as I am currently an ROTC student, I will be serving in the military. I hopefully will be an naval aviator. But there's some requirements that I have to go through. But after that, I'd really like to actually go into NOAA. And fly drones and fly in the hurricanes with them. That is one of my things that I'm interested in doing.
Well, I always knew you were amazing. Yeah. Okay. So I mentioned that you're a private pilot. So did you actually start as being a private pilot or in single engine or lighter?
Yeah, so after taking that discovery flight, I really wanted to fly. I told mom, how do I become a pilot? And she said, well, how are you gonna pay for it? And I was like, I don't know. And she told me, well, I asked her, should I get a job? And she's like, no. She told me no. She said, you should apply for scholarships because all that time that you're working, you can get more in scholarships, which I ended up applying for the James C. Ray Foundation scholarship at Wings of the Rockies. And because I was too young to apply for the Power Scholarship, they said, well, we can offer you the glider scholarship. So I was like, well, what's a glider? Well, it's an airplane without an engine. And I was like, what? And let me tell you, my mom was like, oh my goodness. And but we ended up taking it, and I was like, okay, well, this is my journey. I'm going to start with flying an airplane and getting towed up by another aircraft. And it's nothing like having an engine, actually, because I do fly those now. But back then, I still fly gliders, but it's so quiet. You don't need a headset. You got a walkie-talkie, and you're just taking off those thermals, enjoying peaceful, thin air, and it's just nothing like this.
So what was about when you pursue it?
So I think maybe it's been a hot minute. I think it's been maybe about a year because I've been really focusing on getting my single engine trailer.
So you do a lot with them. You do a lot with outreach. I know that's how we reached out to each other a long time ago. And so how do you feel that's going for your direction? You've got a page. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I guess I mentioned it. I have a company. It's called Pilot Prodigies. It's a combination of just like these friends that are in aviation. Just not just aviation, but the mechanical side. I have AP people that are on there that are also pilots, that are drone pilots, and many that are female as well. And we go to schools and we bring STEM to them. And we like to bring drone soccer as an opportunity to bring it into schools and be like, hey, you know, you can start at any age. You can learn how to fly a drone, but you can start making money at 16. And this is how you do it. And we also try to bring it to like undergraduate schools because in the area that I went to school, I didn't have those opportunities. So being able to go into those schools and show them like you can do this, we can have this here, really opens the broad view.
And you can see, you know, just absolutely. What a role model you are. So one last note, just to shout out to everyone that's watching right now. Do you have any words of inspiration?
I would really recommend, I wouldn't be here without showing up. But honestly, that's like in half the battle, of just showing up to events because, there's this one time where I was at an EAA event and well, there was an EAA event and I really didn't want to go that day. It had been a really long day of school and school started at like 7:30 because that's when I did junior Roxy and it was like maybe 9 o'clock and they were having this little dinner thing, right? And this is where you get to network and talk to people. And I was like, you know what? This could be a good opportunity. I went there and then I ended up getting a free flight around the mountains. And I was like, all right, that's super cool. And it's just because I showed up. And, at another drone soccer event, just another thing. I got to talk to a bunch of NASA scientists, which helped me become a NASA intern back in the day. So just showing up is half the battle.
I like it. Excellent. Excellent advice. Show up. Well, thank you so much and just look forward to watching you and all this and stuff. Of course, oh, we have a question.
Yeah. We got in a little late. I was curious, how old were you when you started flying gliders and how old are you now?
I started flying when I was 15 years old. I'm 15 and I'm currently 19.
You wouldn't know when you look at us, I know.
Yeah.
Aren't you 15 now?
And you're killing it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Yes.